Democrats hoping to strengthen their hand after impeachment efforts failed on Capitol Hill. Politico reporting that Speaker Pelosi is looking for her next attack on President Trump, reportedly hosting, quote, a special speakers meeting on Tuesday with a top Obama economics advisor to explain to Democrats why the economy isn't actually as strong as Trump claims and how they can message that to the voters. Well, with record high economic confidence levels and Fidelity, for one, now reporting that the average 401k balance rose 17% last year to a record high. How can Speaker Pelosi make voters believe that they're worse off than they really feel, Carol?
I mean, David, this is the financial gaslighting of Americans. You absolutely cannot make this case with a straight face. And I know that some people don't like President Trump personally, so why don't they just go after that? Why don't they say, you know, the economy is doing very well. I know that you might not think he's civil, so we're going to take the high road here. We're going to double down on these policies, but do it with civility and work across the aisle. That would be, you know, having some integrity. But when the bottom portions of Americans are doing better than the top in terms of their growth in their wealth, in terms of unemployment, you just financially cannot make the case. And unfortunately, the Democrats never learn this.
Jonathan?
Yeah, what are they going to run on, David? They're running against prosperity. They're running away from prosperity. Towards what? Towards democratic socialism? The American public is smarter than that. They know that Democrats are associated with big government programs. You know what? The bigger government is, historically, the smaller and the more feeble the economy always has been. So what are they going to run? They can't run on a bad economy, so they're going to run on this whole inequality shtick. They're going to say it's unfair that the rich have so much. And, of course, the Democrats' role is going to be to redistribute it all in a way that they think it's fair. And of course, that redistribution, that's one of the central planks of the Communist Manifesto.
As a general rule of thumb, when the economy is bad, you don't need to call a meeting to convince people why it's bad and to show them the little statistical tweaks that you need to make that. People know because they don't have jobs and the value of their house is terrible and stocks are falling. You know, so the reason Democrats are in deep trouble this fall is because they don't have a message that talks about their competence in governing. They want to convince you that the economy is worse than you think. I don't like to trash talk the economy, whether you're for Trump or against Trump. And the other argument they make is the president is a naughty boy. Anyone who was going to be convinced of that is already convinced that's not going to win new voters.
Let me just say the Kansas City Chiefs did not win the Super Bowl. It was the New York Giants. I don't want to hear anything different. Look, and let me just say the stock market isn't up 60 to 80% since the election. We are not at 3.6% unemployment. We have not created 7 million jobs. 7 million people have not come off welfare. Everything is just terrible out there. Look, her job is to do what she's doing, to try to change the playing field as we head into the election, because the fact of the matter is, and it's very simplistic, if it's Trump up against Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren or anybody else and the economy's still in great shape, Trump's going to win the election in 2024, and I don't think she can take it.
You know, Jack was talking about competence in governance. I worry about competence in the business sector. I haven't heard any Democrat candidate talk about how he's going to grow the private sector. It's all about how to grow the government.
Yeah, I mean, David, Democrats think, by and large, that government is the source of wealth creation. And to borrow a line from Elizabeth Warren, they've got a plan for that in education, in housing, in health care, and, of course, in energy. Democrats have a big government program for every element of the economy. And, of course, we know empirically from history the most free economies have always been the most prosperous. But they can't run on that because the economy is so strong.
And the fact that everything that the government...
Hold on, Carol, go ahead.
Everything that the government gets involved with becomes more expensive. If you look like it's something like education, since the government has gotten more and more involved, the costs have gone up. So their case, they can't even make their own case because the numbers don't support it.
More expensive and more complicated. Don't forget that. We got to move on, gang.